Welcome back to the channel. First, subscribe, and let's start. Tonight's story isn't just another horror tale. It's a real confession from a girl who looked into her mirror one morning and saw something that shouldn't exist. My name is Emily, and what I'm about to tell you happened 3 years ago in a small apartment I had just moved into. The kind that always smelled a little like dust and old wallpaper. The kind that made every night feel longer than it should have been. And I swear to you, I'm not crazy. I wasn't seeing things. At least, that's what I kept telling myself when it all started. It was a normal morning. Sunlight spilling through my curtains, soft and harmless. And I stood in front of my mirror like I always did, brushing my hair, half awake, half lost in thought, until something so small yet so wrong made my whole body freeze. My reflection smiled before I did. I didn't even realize at first. I thought maybe my eyes were playing tricks. Maybe I blinked, maybe the light shifted. But then it happened again. Slower this time, clearer. My lips didn't move, but the reflections did. It smiled wide, a grin that didn't belong to me. And my heart started pounding in my chest so hard I thought I'd faint. I remember stepping back, whispering, "What the hell?" But the reflection didn't step back. It stayed there, still smiling, almost mocking me, almost like it was waiting for me to speak again. I ran out of the bathroom, shaking, trying to convince myself it was just a tired mind. Maybe I'd been staying up too late watching those creepy videos online. Maybe it was stress. But deep down, something inside me already knew that this wasn't over. That mirror wasn't just showing my face anymore. It was showing something else, something pretending to be me. That night, I avoided it completely, brushed my teeth in the dark, wouldn't even look up. But I could feel it, that pull, like it wanted me to look, to make eye contact, to acknowledge it existed. I barely slept. Every creak of the apartment felt like a whisper, every sound like breathing. By morning, I had convinced myself again that it was nothing, that mirrors don't smile on their own, people do. So I looked again, and that was the worst mistake I ever made. When I looked into the mirror that morning, she was already there, waiting, her eyes fixed on me with a look I can't even describe. A mix of amusement and hunger, like she had been awake all night while I was asleep, studying me, memorizing how I moved, how I blinked, how I breathed. And the scariest part was how familiar it felt. Like she wasn't a stranger, but something buried inside me that finally learned to crawl out. I waved my hand. She waved back, but her timing was off by a fraction of a second. Just enough for me to notice, just enough to make my stomach twist. I leaned closer, and she leaned too. But when I tilted my head to the left, she didn't. She tilted it to the right, slow and deliberate, her smile growing wider as she did it. It wasn't a reflection anymore. It was a response. I stumbled backward, my elbow knocking a glass off the sink, and the crash snapped me out of it. I ran, slammed the bathroom door shut, and for hours, I I sat on my bed, staring at that door, half expecting it to open on its own. I called my mom, tried to talk, but my voice was shaking so bad she thought I was sick. I didn't tell her about the mirror. How could I? Who would believe something like that? Even I didn't believe it, not fully, until that night when things got worse. I woke up to a sound, tapping, faint, rhythmic, like fingers drumming on glass. I turned my head toward the bathroom. The door was cracked open, just enough to see the edge of the mirror. The tapping continued, steady, almost impatient. I should have turned away, but I didn't. I got up, every instinct screaming not to. But my body moved on its own. When I reached the doorway, I saw it, my reflection standing there, smiling, tapping her fingers against the inside of the mirror, while I stood outside it, shaking. And then she stopped tapping and waved. I didn't wave back. I couldn't. I was too terrified, frozen in that dim blue light that came through the window, watching her as she tilted her head, still smiling that wide, unnatural smile, and then slowly raised her other hand, pressing her palm against the glass, waiting for me to do the same, like some cruel invitation. And for a reason I can't explain, I lifted my hand too, trembling, matching hers, my fingers hovering just an inch from the cold surface. And that's when the impossible happened. I felt her touch me, not through the glass, but past it. A cold, sharp sensation shot through my arm as her hand pushed through the mirror like it was water. And for a split second, her fingers wrapped around mine. I screamed and pulled back, stumbling into the hallway, my arm numb and burning at the same time. And when I looked down, there were faint, dark marks where her fingers had been, like bruises, forming instantly. I ran out of my apartment barefoot, didn't even take my phone, just ran until I reached the parking lot outside, gasping for air, shaking under the streetlights. I sat there until sunrise, watching my door, waiting for something. I don't even know what to follow me out, but nothing did. When I finally gathered enough courage to go back inside, everything looked normal, too normal. The bathroom was spotless, no cracks, no sign of movement, but the mirror, it looked cleaner than ever, like someone had just wiped it from the inside. That's when I realized I couldn't stay there anymore. I packed a few things and left that day. Told my landlord there was a leak. Made up any excuse just to get out. I moved across town, new apartment, new start. But the nightmare didn't end. Even in my new place, I started seeing flashes, not of her fully, but pieces. A grin in the reflection of a window. A movement behind me when I brushed my teeth. A pair of eyes in the TV screen before I turned it on. I avoided mirrors completely, covered them with sheets. But she found new ways to show up, as if reflections themselves were her doorway. I started dreaming of her, standing behind me, whispering things I could almost understand, but not quite. Her voice low and calm, like she was soothing me, not scaring me. "You're mine," she'd say. "I waited so long to meet you." Every time I woke up, find a new handprint on the mirror I refused to look at, smudged from the inside. I tried throwing the mirror away once, but the next morning it was back, leaning against my wall. That's when I knew she wasn't trapped in it. I was. I stopped going out, stopped answering calls. Every night I could feel her closer, like the barrier between us was wearing thin. Sometimes I could hear her laugh faintly, echoing in my head, soft and familiar, like my own voice mocking me from the dark. I tried smashing the mirror again, this time breaking it into 100 pieces. But as I stared down at the shards scattered across the floor, every single one still showed her face, still smiling. That night, I decided to end it. I covered every piece of glass, every reflective surface. I turned off the lights, sat in the middle of the room, and told her to leave me alone. For the first time, she spoke back, not in my head, but through the air, her voice echoing from nowhere and everywhere at once. "You called me," she said. "You looked too long." And then I realized maybe she wasn't haunting me. Maybe I had summoned her without knowing, drawn her out with my own curiosity, my own reflection feeding hers. I cried, begged, screamed, but the laughter didn't stop. Every wall began to shimmer faintly, as if coated with liquid glass. My reflection was no longer confined to one mirror. She was everywhere. She was me. I tried closing my eyes, but even then, I could see her behind my eyelids, smiling. It's been weeks now, I think, though I've lost track of time. I haven't gone outside, haven't seen anyone. I'm writing this because maybe someone will hear it. Maybe someone will understand that mirrors aren't what we think they are. They're doors. Thin layers between what we see and what's waiting to be seen. If you're listening to this on Midnight Whispers, remember what I said. Don't look too long. Don't smile at yourself for too long. Because if your reflection ever smiles first, you'll never truly know if the person staring back is still you.